Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. I am here with, I said that weird, crafter. Crafter? I don't know. It's been a long day. I'm here with Kathy and Lorraine, and we are here for this Ask a Crafter.
One episode.
Oh no! You know what though? This is the 75th episode, I think.
Oh, you're kidding. I
think it is. I know because
Wow.
as you know, you probably realize that you probably think we don't change our clothes, but we film like 4 episodes at a time. And before we started this batch of episodes, we had 72 Ask a Crafters.
Really?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
wow, we should like have a party.
Yeah.
That's significant. Those
Yeah,
kind of anniversaries.
75th day. We should just go out for lunch or
Wow.
something. Maybe. Well, then you don't get to have fun.
I'm in a party on screen.
Oh,
Yeah,
party!
yeah,
That's
that's
true. Woohoo! Okay, so this might be a little dull for some of you, but we a couple weeks ago we talked about, probably 2 months ago now, printers. And there was a lot of suggestions and a lot of tips in the comments, and I printed off a few that I thought were really good, and I want to share them with you guys and chat about them a bit. But if it's not something you're interested in, you may want to skip ahead a little bit because we're going to be talking about printers for probably a couple minutes. But I thought it was worth mentioning since so many people left comments on that video. They really were asking questions about printers and offering really wonderful advice, because I've had the same printer for like 6 years and I love it, but so many things have changed and there's so many new services and things out there now that this up-to-date information I think will be really helpful. So Amber Cook had asked if I could please show my printer and explain the difference between a print cartridge with or without a head, even if you only have one kind. Well, when you buy your printer, I think you kind of have to research it to find out this information, but some print cartridges have the head on them, and that's usually on your cheap printer. So if you go to Walmart and you buy a $40 printer, your print heads are going to be on the cartridge itself. That's why the printer's so cheap. If you go and you spend $200 or $300 on a printer, your print heads are most likely going to be on the machine, and that's what's adding to the cost. But when you buy your ink cartridges, they're going to be a lot cheaper. So instead of having a $40 printer with $60 inks that you have to replace, you'll have a $200 printer with $10 inks that you'll have to replace. So the inks that my printer takes, and my printer was over $200 or right around there, were $10 a color, and it took 6 colors, and I only replaced a color as it ran out. So that saved me a lot of money because I print a lot of photos. And then I found generic inks where I could get all 6 colors for $5, and that's what I'm using now, and it's fantastic. And it's because I spent more on the printer and the print heads are on the machine. Generally, if your print heads are on the printer, you'll see kind of like you look at the printer, the cartridge, when you take it out, and you'll see kind of like a copper colored grid kind of on the, it'll be probably like probably like 1/2 inch by 3/4 of an inch, and that's the print head on there that you're seeing, I do believe. And so if you have expensive cartridge and that's what it looks like, that's where your print head is. And then you may have problems getting generic inks or refilling your cartridge if that's the kind of printer you have, because that clogs up. So if you take it out of your printer and you wait a week and then you go to Staples and you have it refilled, or you go buy a kit and refill it yourself, the ink is dried in the little areas on the print head, and that's why a lot of people are not happy with their refilled cartridges. Same thing when you recycle a cartridge, you buy a remanufactured cartridge, it's one that's been cleaned up and refilled, and it's not always going to work that great.
And it can also happen if you just don't use your printer a lot, which happened to me.
Yeah, you need, if you're going to be printing at home, you're going to get your best value if you print a lot. Now, several viewers said they were thrilled with the HP paper and ink subscription service, and I think it saves them a lot of money. So HP came out with several printers. I think there's probably like maybe 10, and they're a wireless, I think the Bluetooth printer, and if you get these types of printers, you can actually enroll in a subscription service which will mail you paper and ink every month, and there's different plans. So it's like $2 a month, I think up to like $10 a month, somewhere around there. And so like for $2.99 a month, you might be able to print like 50 sheets, and it doesn't matter if it's text or photos. I think it's like 50 sheets.
Yeah.
So that might be just, if you want to budget your printing and you want to know exactly what you're spending, you don't want to have one of those months where you're buying 2 cartridges for $120. You want to spread it out a little bit, then that's probably a good option for you. The printers, I think, they're average price printers. They're not they're not as cheap. They're probably in the $100 range.
Well, of course, 6 years ago when you buy yours, printers were up there. Good printers were 2 and 3, but you can get a good printer for $150 or $130 now. So the prices change so much. So.
Yep. So that's an option. I'd never heard of it until several people said they really loved it. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that. Now, I got a great tip from Sharon Loans. She said, on the ink front, are people aware that you can get your cartridges refilled at Costco and maybe Sam's Club? I don't know about Sam's Club, but it's $8 at Costco. Check their online list for cartridges that they refill. So you could check that out if you want to take it.
Each cartridge is $8?
Yeah. But you know, if you've got one of those $50 cartridges,
that you can.
Yeah, and if they do a good job, if they know what they're doing, you know.
Right. And it's, you know, quick find. Costco would be open, you know, most of the time to scoot over and do it as opposed to.
And then I had asked, a lot of people say they use a continuous ink supply, which is like these ink tanks that sit on top of your machine, and you just refill the ink tanks as they go low. And Lady Vandera 55 had a comment, I refill my own inks and use Epson printers. I refilled the HPs and my Canons from the same supply place, and it's called MIS Associates. Here's a website. Inksupply.com out of Michigan, and they have the CFS, which is continuous flow system cartridges. They have the original cartridges, generic cartridges, and huge refill cartridges. And you only have to look up your printer, and the list is huge. So basically, that's her source for if you want to do the continuous ink or get ink cartridges refilled, or if you want to buy the generic ones, I guess. That was a really long comment. I just kind of consolidated it. And one more tip I want to share is that Blue Penny recommends a product called Bubble Jet Set. The key ingredient in this is soda ash, like what you would soak your fabric in if you were tie dyeing. Well, you brush this on the paper. It's meant for fabric, for being able to make printable, inkjet printable fabric that you can sew with. But she brushed it on her paper and then printed out like a digi-stamp and then colored it and watercolored it, no running.
Wow.
So I'm thinking that we could do a DIY maybe with, because it has like soda ash and alum and I think like a fabric softener, which you really wouldn't need the fabric softener on cardstock. So I'm thinking maybe you could do like, like baking powder has alum and baking soda, sodium bicarbonate, which isn't exactly the same as soda ash, but I think you could cook it. And
we'd certainly try it.
Yeah.
Find out. Baking soda is pretty easy to get hold of and certainly cheap.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it might be worth trying that.
Very cool.
Yeah, especially since you don't need it for fabric. If it's just for paper, you know. But I've heard the Bubble Jet Set is fantastic if you can find it. So there is that. So what are we at? We're at oh my gosh, we talked about printers for 7 minutes. I just want to make a note of that in the video description so people can like skip ahead if they have no interest in printers. So, all right, what do we have for the first question?
Okay, Marcy asks, I have a question about stencils. I seem to have trouble when I use spray mist. I get leakage under the stencils. I hate that. I want a crisp outline and it just never seems to happen regardless of how far away or how close I spray. Any suggestions would be greatly appreciated.
Okay, Marcy, I would recommend that you go with a color darker than what you want, hold it far back, and spritz with a moving motion, so it's going to lay a thin layer of droplets down on the stencil. If you're just squirt to get the color you want, that's when it puddles and it leaks. So you want a very thin application, so if you squirt and sweep at the same time, you'll get a much finer application. And go with the darker color so that you don't have to put so many layers down.
Okay, so can I ask, like, because you're holding it up this way, so you're spraying this way when your paper's down here, or you're just showing her because she would be sweeping and spraying this way?
Well, some sprays don't work very well holding
that
down
way.
there, so
Okay,
I'd probably
telling
tip it.
her
I'd probably
to-
tip it up and
Okay.
you know, just like my paper's like.
You
Well,
couldn't
sorry,
hold
Lord.
your
And then-
paper up if you have a stencil on it.
I think you could. I think you could if you had like a board underneath it, like a piece of cardboard underneath it.
Oh, okay. I think that.
And then too, I mean, if she's still really having a hard time, the temporary adhesive spray to really seal it down around the edges, but they'd just be harder to store because they'll be stick them everywhere. But,
stencil mating.
you know, it
season,
depends
so they
on
call it.
which thing bugs you the most.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be all the way up. It could just be kind of like angled up, like that or something. So it's kind of going out more. But that's what I would do.
All right, sounds good. Michelle M. asks Spectrum, same people who make Spectrum Noir, have just come out with watercolor pens called Aqua. I'm interested in knowing your opinion on them if you choose to check them out. I love their Noor pens, and I'm considering going for the watercolor pens too.
Actually, I like the watercolor ones better than their alcohol markers because they have a brush tip. It's very responsive. I got the full set from Hallmark Scrapbook to review and test out, and I really like them. I think they're wonderful. They have 48 colors. They'll work well with your other watercolor markers, so if you're not sure what you want, maybe get like one package of the watercolor markers, the Spectrum Aquas, and pick out a few loose ones like a Tombow and Memento, and try them all and see what you like, what's most comfortable to hold, and what you prefer, because they'll all work well together. And the thing I like about the Spectrum, and I mentioned it before, is if you buy one pack of their markers, you can buy another pack, and there's not going to be duplicates. So they make it so you build on your collection and you don't double up when you're buying markers. So I like that. To my knowledge, they say they're not refillable, but I've refilled all my watercolor markers from every brand. None of them are supposed to be refillable, but I just refill them because I'm the frugal crafter, that's why. What do you get to lose? It's a disposable pen.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, throw it away or try refilling it. You have nothing to lose, you know?
Right.
Ask Chandler, I really enjoy your channel and the Ask a Crafter videos with your friends. Which die cutting machines do you recommend? Manual and computerized machines, please.
Oh my goodness, we answered that last time. But so brief answer. Go to the last video, last week's Ask a Crafter if you want more in-depth information on this. But I recommend the Big Shot for a manual machine, and I recommend Silhouette, I guess, for electronic. But also, I'm curious because you have Silhouette and you can vouch for it.
I do like it, but I haven't tried the Brother Scan and Cut.
That's the one I want to try. I want to try.
You know, you don't know, and until you actually see one and use it, we can't really make a judge.
This would be a good time to invite the fine folks at Brother Scan and Cut to send us one to
totally.
try. We'll try it.
Yeah.
We'll give you our honest opinion.
Marcia from Russia. Hi, Lindsay. I would like to ask you if you're familiar with the pickup tool. Do you think it's useful? It looks like some lip gloss from the outside, but does it have a gel in it? Can you just use the old lip gloss and maybe put glycerin in it or something? Thank you for your time.
You know what I've always used? I take like a barbecue skewer and I'll paint like a little bit of Aliens, tack it over and over on the end, which is a glue that never dries. It dries, but it's like a sticker. It's sticky. Or I will take a barbecue skewer or a golf tee or something with a point, and I'll put a little bit of blue tack, which is like the poster putty that you can use to temporarily hang posters up, and I use that for picking up small things. It works great, and it doesn't leave any adhesive behind. So either of those you can make your own. I haven't used the store-bought one. Have you? No. But that's fine. I mean, anybody can do that. It's pretty easy. And if you don't have the the glue, just you can get the poster putty anywhere. Even a little silly putty or something. It doesn't have to be, anything fancy.
Dot Imbro gum Arabic powder, is that mixed directly with ink paint or first with water?
If you get the powder, you need to mix it with water first.
Oh, I'm not ready.
Rapid fire.
Fast. Lexi Jansma said, one other question. What is the order of operations when die cutting and embossing? Can you emboss a sheet of paper or cardstock and then die cut it? Or should you die cut it and emboss it? I wanted to make a sheet of hearts or something else to add to a page. If I emboss the sheet first to make all my hearts embossed, will the Big Shot crush the embossing when I go to die cut it? I don't want to ruin a perfectly good sheet of paper. Thanks.
Yes, it will crush it to an extent. What I do is I die cut all my stuff, and then you can put a bunch of die cuts inside an embossing folder and close it up and send it through. You can even put like a couple stacked up.
Yep, I've done that.
So yeah, do that. That way you won't have any smushed or cracked embossing.
Victoria Rose, I love that name, Victoria.
That is pretty.
That is pretty.
Please tell me you know of a concoction I can use to replace glossy accents.
I use Mod Podge in place of glossy accents all the time. You do have to be careful about some humid areas. Oh, another, actually even better than Mod Podge is Minwax polycrylic. I'm not sure if it works out to be cheaper than glossy accents though. Let's see, I get a quart of it for about $17, so it's not well, it goes a long way, so I don't want to say it's not cheap. It's a great product, great for paper beads.
But the
and
glossy
stuff.
accents, I think I just saw that, and it's like $7
Is it like 1 ounce or 2
$7 for a little bottle. I mean, it's no more than 2 ounces.
Okay, and a quart is 32 ounces. Is that right?
Yes.
Quart is 32 ounces. So yeah, that's cheaper to get it by the quart. Yeah, try the Minwax polycrylic. That way, if you are in a humid area, the Mod Podge isn't going to stay sticky on you. I love the Minwax. You can get that at any hardware store. Unfortunately, you can't use a coupon unless, maybe if your big box craft store has it, you might be able to use a coupon. But I've never seen it at a craft store. It's always hardware store. Of course, if it was a craft store, it'd be like $50 instead of
Yes.
$17. So, you know, pick your battles.
Yeah, really. Marta Santiago, no one talks about the Pazzles electronic die cutting machine. I have a personal Cricut and decided to complement it with the Pazzles. Is there a particular reason why?
No, in fact, I've heard so many wonderful things about Pazzles from viewers lately. So I think it's just, I think Pazzles was the first one that came out, and they came out with the Wishblade, but it was pretty much the only people that could afford it were like scrapbook store owners. And
That's
then
what Nancy
that's
got.
what
Yeah.
Nancy
That's what
had.
she
Yeah,
had way back when.
Yeah, and it was
when
like
we were so in
$500
awe
or something.
Yeah.
It
being
was
able to
expensive.
cut. Yeah.
And then I think they were the ones that actually designed the Cricut, and I think maybe because the Cricut has gotten so much bad press lately, maybe people don't even want anything to do with it, but they're separate from Cricut. And I think, I've heard nothing but good things about Pazzles. Being able to cut with your computer. I don't think it uses cartridges. I think it's all computer-based cutting. So, you know, if you're somebody who wants to just to stick a cartridge in and go, then it's not for you. But I've heard wonderful things
Is
about
it
the
really
company.
expensive?
It's more than the Cricut, probably, but I think it's probably in the $300 through $50.
Oh, okay.
Right about the same as the Silhouette, but the consumables might be less. That's another thing to look at. The consumables for Silhouette are on the higher end, whereas like the consumables for like an Eclipse are on the lower end.
But
So
I
it's
don't really find them that bad, because I went and bought some of the tools and the sheets to feed in, and an extra blade, and I mean, I don't know that they're I think they were on sale, or I could use a coupon. I don't know that they're guarded so much like the Cricut.
yeah, I think,
stuff,
and I
too.
heard the blades do last a little longer on the Silhouette. They are different. They have like a casing that they come in. So, but I don't have any experience with that. I'm still using an old Cricut with software. So
I have to say, like the blade and the housing and stuff are very easy to use. Like it is in a little thing, and you can just turn the depth on a number, drop it in, and lock it, and that's all there is to taking it out and put it in. And so, Chris Cat, can you talk a little about quilling?
I have maybe 1 or 2 videos on it. It's basically twirling thin strips of paper, and you make them into shapes, and you put the shapes together to build other things. I've done a little bit of it, not a ton, but it's a very fun pastime, and you know,
I've never tried.
you'll find lots of tutorials online. You'll find a lot of written tutorials, more written tutorials than videos probably online. You have anything to add?
No, it's really quite fun and easy. You are working with little stuff, but
Yeah,
it works out quite quickly.
Yes, and it can be as easy or as elaborate as you want it to be.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
We got time for more?
we got time, at least one more. Yeah.
Okay, Home is a Haven writes, Lindsay, in the consignment shop space you rent, are you at your own risk as far as inventory loss due to damage to the retail property, like a fire or a tree falling on it, or do you carry some sort of insurance that covers your goods? I know that loss from petty theft and shoplifting is inevitable and a consequence that can be addressed at tax time, but suppose the retail shop is burgled by breaking and entering and items of several vendors stolen.
Well, I think you would probably be. There's a couple different things. This shop in particular, there are employees there at all. Like whenever it's open, there's a security system and there are cameras. So I haven't noticed any theft. I mean, occasionally there'll be some breakage. That's you know, you've got an antique shop. There's going to be kids, you know, but then again, it's an antique shop, so people aren't letting their kids run loose. And, you know, you always have the chance of shoplifting, but I've never found that to be a problem, and I've rented there twice before, so it's never, ever really been an issue. I think if there was a lot of theft, or if there was a fire, I would imagine, I don't have a separate insurance for that, I would think it probably would fall under the owner's insurance, but then again, at the end of the year, when you're figuring your taxes, you know, when you're figuring inventory, you can take that, you know, it's not the same as not having it gotten lost, but you can account for that at the end of the year at tax time. I don't carry an extra insurance for it because I don't want to say anything of great value, but it's nothing that, you know, I make so much stuff. So, I mean, I guess if you had some really high-end stuff, I would carry insurance on it. Probably, I almost think the store owner probably does too, the owner of the business. But that's a good thing to look into. I should probably look into it. I would say if something would be, you know, a big financial loss, if something happened to it, like there was a fire or whatnot, well, it wouldn't hurt to double check, but then go ahead and get the insurance. If it wouldn't really affect you too much, if you lost it, then I wouldn't bother paying the insurance for it. So that would be my advice. Let me look at the time. No, I think we probably ought to better wrap it up, and we'll save it for next week. I want to thank you so much for watching. Please give us a thumbs up and subscribe, because that really helps the show. It really helps the channel, because the more thumbs up it gets, the more YouTube promotes it, and then we can bring you more of these wonderful Ask a Crafter episodes. I want to thank you so much for watching. Again, I think I already thanked them, but thanks again. And until next time, happy crafting.